Where all the tourists gone? That is the question which is Hotel Association of Turkey and Antalya in particular asking. Personally, those are the people who should give us the answers to that question, but they are asking that question because they don't know. Last year, the same group, the same business interest lobbied the government to pass the law against short-term rent, and it was passed. There is no more short-term rent. Yes, some people can go and stay in the flats of their friends and relatives, but you don't see this widespread advertisement, short-term rent, etc., because it's been patrolled. Cops actually watching that, and people knowing how big penalties are, they just don't want to rent anymore. They lock the door and they go home to their countries if they don't live in Turkey, and when they come to Turkey, they just spend their time in their properties. The problem which I see was that Turkey in many cases doesn't have transparency, and it's not deliberate, it's just a lack of analysis and lack of data collection. Because if you are a large organization and you making big decision, business decision, you gotta have at least some kind of a idea where those people will go, why those people will go or not go. My idea right now is that most likely those people go to smaller hotels. They just don't want to go to big overpriced hotels, and the reason those big hotels are overpriced right now, in fact, if you don't know, they are starting giving these discounts, and some places actually give discounts up to 40% if you're still on the market to go and spend some time in Turkey and stay in a hotel. I'm not giving you any particular place because it's not of interest to me, and I just don't want to sound like another salesman, another agent, or another real estate agent. It's just not my business. I'm right now in Belarus, in Minsk, and the reason is very simple. It's much cooler here. We're talking about 25, 28 degrees, which is very comfortable. In many cases, in other seasons, this country is cold, but right now it's most pleasant, and that's why I'm here. You see, I am living in Turkey. I'm a resident of Turkey for most of the time during year. And the way I look at it, there are people who actually write in comments. By the way, you can subscribe, you can leave some comments too, and you can leave some likes or dislikes if you agree or disagree or whatever your expression is. And I certainly don't expect to have the same rights as Turkish citizens. I come there, I live there, I spend my money, I pay for services, I pay for goods, I enjoy whatever I enjoy. However, in my previous video I said about this museum card, and let me just touch it one more time very quickly. The reason I think it's a bad practice and it's a bad strategy to revoke museum cards from tourists, or from residents, not from tourists, from residents, is that because the residents in many cases, they are the conductors which bring foreign tourists to the locations of interest, museums, historic sites, whatever that is. If friends or relatives come to me, I take them there. You know, museum is not a beach. You don't go there every day. You go there maybe once a year, and that's about it. So that card also is useful, but it's not overly used. And if somebody comes to me, and people do come to me, sometimes they don't even come to me, they just stay nearby and they want to refresh our old friendship, I take them there. Well, now I have a lot less incentives to do this. I still may do it, but I will not go and pay exuberant price for visiting place which I've been to. I may take them there and just sit on the beach and drink coffee, that's about it. So that's what I'm saying. On the other hand, I might not even take them there. I'll just say, heck with that. It's not really worth it. Anyway, it is what it is. The government made a decision. Hopefully they actually had some data and they actually made some analysis and they arrived to a logical conclusion. I would like to think so. It's not always the case, but I'd like to think so. So now the hotels, they don't know where the tourists go. Antalya airport is busy as ever. When I was flying out there, the people were all over the places, crawling, bumping, kids screaming, etc. The air traffic controllers. They are on strike in Antalya airport because they are overworked, and they just said like, we're gonna be working according to the law. And I think that's what they're doing, because many of them actually had to do overtime or something else. I'm not in possession of details exact, but that is something which I've read, that's something which I've heard. So where did tourists go? I think what they really should ask, where is the data on where tourists go? I think we should have some kind of law where people will collect it so we know where they go. Because right now, apparently, even if it's collected, it's not gathered all together and it's not analyzed. And this kind of problem actually exists everywhere. When you buy in real estate, the same problem arises. Often you just make very intuitive decision, and in most cases it's not educated decision. It's just basically flipping the coin. That's how it works, and it's not very comfortable to buy real estate like that. I'm more in advantage in this particular case because I have many people who I know now and they're in real estate, and I get some data. But even those people who work in real estate, they're not always very knowledgeable. They have their own biases, etc. So if you are a buyer, if you're thinking about retiring in Turkey, if you're still thinking about retiring in Turkey, you have to be really patient, and you have to be really diligent, and you have to invest your time to make correct decision. That's just how it is. Now, the other question which I wanted to touch in this video also, that is why Turkey is joining BRICS. Many people are wondering about that, and again, there are people saying, well, dollar is over, it's de-dollarization going on, Europe is over because they can no longer buy cheap energy resources, etc. And those are probably all valid reasons to say that. But for Turkey, first of all, think about that. Turkey is part Europe, part Asia. And it's used to be even more so. The other problem is that European Union is like a flirty girl. It was always trying to attract Turkey, and they were saying they will join the European Union, and it's been going for 30 years, but they never commit. They just like Turkey to be where it is. And the other problem with the West, I'm talking about now collective West, that West is really unwilling and disinterested to share the technologies. They would like to sell their product, but sharing technology is very difficult. China was very persistent at that. They have huge market, and when Western countries were going to China, China was very direct and blunt. They said, if you want to share technology, come. If you don't come. That's it. And now China has more engineers probably than any other country in the world, or maybe even the entire West. They have more engineers, and they have their own technologies. Some of them are advanced, some of them are not, some of them are very advanced and competitive and probably ahead of many other companies in the West. So from that respect, this BRICS union becomes very attractive, because not only you can trade with them in your local currency, which is great, but you also can gain some access to the technology. And that's my answer to you. And that probably is another tool to influence the inflation right now in Turkey. Because for the same reason we don't know where did tourists go, we don't know where that inflation came from. And right now the official claim is that inflation is slowing down in Turkey, and I hope it is so. From my view, I didn't really see it happening. And after looking at the hotels, I think I know now why the exchange course is so unfavorable for foreigners to come to Turkey. The reason for that is that many hotels, they borrowed a lot of money in the loans from the government or from banks. And as you know, the interest rate right now is really high, and they have to pay it back. And what they see is that tourists are not coming. And if the tourists are not coming, they were not collecting the cash, they're not increasing their revenues, and their ability to pay that rent maybe in some cases even questionable, but in general they will not make as much profit. The only way they can make more profit is if the exchange course is staying unfavorable to foreigners. So more foreign currency comes when you convert, your numbers seem to be a little bit better. But that is short-term solution. We still need to have something better than that. Anyway, I think it's plausible. Tell me if you think that's correct. If so, just leave some comments in commentary section. I really appreciate it because my last video collected a lot of good commentaries, a lot of good thoughts. Some of the people expressed their frustration. I understand that. That's not a problem. If you do it in a respectful manner, I totally understand, and I honor your opinion of whatever that is, because sometimes you really have a spark of insight or something which I overlooked. I can actually get it. All the best. I'm Vas. Welcome to my channel again. Leave some likes or dislikes and subscribe. Good luck.